Another American soldier killed in Iraq over the weekend, making April the deadliest month for U.S. troops in 2 years.
I was not a big supporter from the war from the beginning, so I think the U.S. needs to withdraw.
That's the world we live in. And, all we can do is pray for the soldiers and for their families.
According to a statement by the Department of Defense and the White House, the soldier was killed conducting operations in southern Iraq. Despite news that a U.S. military operation killed Osama bin Laden, sparking celebrations in front of the White House overnight, the grim reality of the harshness of war is resonating with Americans nationwide.
I think we need to be out of Iraq. Iraq really wasn't the culprit, the alleged culprit. Our beef was with supposedly al-Qaeda coming out of Afghanistan with the Taliban. And Iraq is a sovereign country that posed no threat to us.
Being in harm's way has its price. The last time nearly a dozen U.S. soldiers were killed in Iraq was in 2009. This demonstrates that U.S. military operations there are still ongoing, despite assertions from the White House last year that combat missions were officially over. But more accurately, missions aren't over, they're just scaled back.
Despite its public statement that it wants to leave Iraq, it still has a lot to do in Iraq for its own policy. So you are seeing them targeting certain groups, especially Shia.
About 45,000 troops remain in Iraq, tasked with mostly training, although they're armed and can engage in combat. Defense Secretary Robert Gates says the U.S. will keep American troops in Iraq beyond the agreed 2011 withdrawal date with Iraq's consent. His comments add to a politically sensitive idea in both nations, and one which Iraq officially rejects.
The U.S. have been pushing these troops to take much more aggressive role, maybe even outside the agreement with Iraq. So that's why you see them being killed. They are not just driving around and patrolling. They were taking part in certain operations.
The U.S. military is still trying to win the propaganda war in Iraq, which it struggles to do. Many Iraqis say the visible presence of U.S. forces damages their national pride and is unnecessary after 8 years of conflict. Colin Campbell, Press TV, Washington.